He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Find somewhere else to die, you're useless now." That's what my husband told me the day after his father's funeral. The man I supported through every hardship, who cried on my shoulder when his father was sick, suddenly acted like I was disposable. The moment the inheritance hit his account, $33 million in stocks and an estate worth millions, his love vanished like it was never real. I remember standing there, holding a photo of us from our wedding, wondering how someone could turn so cold so fast. When we first met, he wasn't rich. He was struggling, drowning in student debt, and I was the one who helped him get on his feet. I used to stay up late editing his job applications, cooking cheap meals so we could save money, even selling my jewelry once to help him pay his rent. We weren't perfect, but we were a team, or so I thought. When his father passed, I stood by him through the pain. I took care of the funeral arrangements when he couldn't face them. I thought grief had made him distant, but I was wrong. It wasn't grief. It was greed. A few weeks later, after the will was finalized, he came home with a look I'd never seen before. Cold, emotionless, like a stranger wearing my husband's face. He told me I didn't fit into his new life anymore. That he was moving on to something better. He said it like he was firing an employee. No emotion, no hesitation, just words sharp enough to cut through my chest. He didn't even let me stay the night. I packed what little I could, tears blurring my vision, while he stood by the door scrolling through his phone. When I begged him to talk, he smirked and said, "You'll land on your feet. You always do." That night, I drove away with nowhere to go. The world outside felt like it was mocking me. Every streetlight, every luxury car, every mansion I passed reminded me of everything he now had, and everything I'd lost. But I wasn't broken. Not yet. Somewhere deep down, anger started to burn hotter than heartbreak. The next morning, I called my lawyer. He'd helped us with a few small business contracts before, and I trusted him. When I told him what happened, he burst out laughing. I was confused, even offended. I thought he was mocking me. But between chuckles, he said, "Is your husband really that dumb?" I asked what he meant, and he said, "Just wait for my email. You're about to have the best morning of your life." My heart raced. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt a flicker of hope. 5 minutes later, his email came through. Attached were several documents, our prenuptial agreement, property papers, and a file titled, Estate Conditions. I opened it slowly, trying to make sense of it all. That's when I saw it. The will had a clause that said if my husband divorced or abandoned his spouse within a year of inheriting the estate, all the assets would be transferred to his father's charitable trust. Every single penny. I read that line at least 10 times. My hands trembled. My breathing quickened. I wasn't sure if I was imagining things. But it was there in black and white. His arrogance, his cruelty, his greed, it was all about to destroy him. I called my lawyer, trying to keep my voice calm, and he said, "All we have to do is prove he kicked you out. Do you have any messages? Recordings? Witnesses?" Oh, I had plenty. I had texts where he told me to get lost, and a voicemail where he said, "I'm done with you. Don't come back." My lawyer laughed again, this time softer, and said, "Perfect. Just perfect. Sit back and let karma do her job." Over the next few weeks, I stayed silent. He thought I was gone for good. He started showing off his wealth online, posting photos from luxury resorts, driving new cars, surrounded by people who only cared about his money. Meanwhile, my lawyer quietly contacted the estate executor. The evidence we sent was undeniable. Within 2 months, a legal notice was sent to him, informing him that due to breach of conditions, his inheritance was nullified. When he found out, he called me in a panic. The same man who once called me useless was now sobbing, begging to talk. I answered the call, calm as ice. He stammered, "I didn't mean what I said. I was just angry. We can fix this." I let him speak, listening to every pathetic excuse, every fake apology. When he finally stopped, I simply said, "You told me to find somewhere else to die. I did. And now you can live with what's left." Then I hung up. He lost everything. The estate, the stocks, the cars, all gone. His so-called friends vanished too. He tried to sue, but the will's clause was airtight. The charity now owned the fortune he thought was his forever. I later learned he had to sell his personal belongings just to stay afloat. The man who once mocked me for being a burden became the very definition of one. I, on the other hand, started fresh. My lawyer helped me get back on my feet. I moved to a smaller town, started a small business, and found peace again. The pain didn't disappear overnight, but it transformed into something powerful: freedom. I no longer felt like the woman he threw away. I was the woman who watched karma catch up. Sometimes I still think about him, not with anger, but with a strange kind of calm. People like him never win in the long run. Greed might buy comfort, but it can't buy peace, love, or loyalty. And when the truth comes out, it always costs more than they can afford. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who thought they were untouchable, just remember, life has a way of balancing the scales. It may take time, but karma never misses. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs a reminder that justice always finds its way. And if you've ever witnessed sweet revenge in your own life, tell me about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that prove karma doesn't forget, she just waits for the perfect moment.